There's a person who crosses your mind right now, isn't there? No message, no call, no reason. They just appeared, uninvited, unexpected, completely out of nowhere. And here's what almost nobody tells you. That is not random. That is not your imagination playing tricks on you. There is an actual psychological reason someone stays in your mind without any communication at all. And once you understand what it really means, you will never dismiss those thoughts as just random again. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly why this happens, what it reveals about your subconscious mind, and most importantly, how to tell the difference between something meaningful and something your mind is simply holding onto out of habit. Point number 4 is the one almost nobody talks about, and it might completely change how you see the person who keeps appearing in your thoughts. So stay till the end, because this is deeper than you think. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the place where we explore the psychology behind love, connection, and the invisible patterns that shape how we think and feel about the people in our lives. No fluff, no fairy tales, just the real mechanics behind why the mind works the way it does. If that's the kind of content you're here for, hit subscribe right now, because we release videos exactly like this every single week. Let's get into it. The first reason is this: unfinished emotional experiences stay active in the mind far longer than resolved ones. In psychology, this is closely related to something called the Zeigarnik effect, the idea that our brains hold onto incomplete experiences with far more intensity than completed ones. Think about it. A story with a clear ending fades from memory quickly because your mind has closed that file. But a story that never got a proper ending, a connection that faded without closure, a feeling that was never fully expressed, a what could have been that never played out, stays open. Your brain treats it like unfinished business, quietly returning to it, again and again, waiting for a resolution that never came. So if someone keeps appearing in your mind without any communication, ask yourself honestly, is there something unfinished between you? Because more often than not, that unresolved emotional thread is exactly what's keeping them present in your thoughts. The second reason is this: the brain is far more attached to emotional intensity than to time spent together. This surprises most people because we assume that the people we think about most are the ones we spent the most time with. But that's not how memory actually works. Your mind doesn't rank people by hours spent together. It ranks them by emotional charge. A single deeply intense moment, a conversation that felt different, a connection that felt unusually real, a moment where you felt truly seen, can outweigh months of ordinary interaction with someone else. This is why someone you barely spoke to, but shared one unusually meaningful moment with, can occupy more mental space than people you see every day. The mind isn't measuring quantity. It's measuring depth. The third reason is this: this can be a subconscious signal of unmet emotional needs, and the person isn't always the actual point. This one is important, so listen carefully. Sometimes, when someone repeatedly enters your mind, it isn't really about them specifically, it's about what they represented. Maybe they made you feel understood in a way you currently don't. Maybe they gave you a sense of excitement, safety, or being truly seen that's currently missing from your life. In these cases, your mind isn't necessarily telling you you need this specific person. It's telling you you need what this person made you feel. This distinction matters enormously because confusing the person with a feeling can lead you to chase someone who isn't actually right for you, simply because they once represented an emotional need that's still unmet. Now here's the fourth reason, the one almost nobody talks about. Sometimes, someone stays in your mind not because of unresolved feelings, but because of unresolved self-perception around them. This means the person didn't just make you feel something about them, they made you feel something about yourself. Maybe around them, you felt more confident, more attractive, more interesting, more alive. And when that person is no longer present, some part of you misses not just them, but the version of yourself you got to be around them. This is one of the most overlooked psychological patterns in human connection, because we assume we're missing a person when in reality, we're missing an identity, a version of ourselves that felt good, that we haven't fully found a way to access without them. Understanding this difference is often the key to genuinely moving forward, because it shifts the question from how do I get them back to how do I get that version of myself back with or without them. And now the fifth and final reason. Persistent thoughts about someone without any active communication often reflect the difference between emotional memory and present reality. And this is the distinction that changes everything. Emotional memory doesn't update in real time. It holds onto how someone made you feel in a specific moment, frozen exactly as it was, regardless of how much time has passed or how much both of you may have changed since. This means the version of them living in your mind might not even be the same person anymore. You may be replaying a memory, not a possibility. And this is precisely why acting purely on the fact that someone crosses your mind without evaluating the current reality of who they are now can lead you toward chasing a memory instead of building something real. So let's bring this together. When someone stays in your mind without any communication, it usually points to one of five things: an unresolved emotional experience your brain hasn't closed, an unusually intense emotional memory that outweighs time spent together, an unmet emotional need that isn't really about the person specifically, a version of yourself you miss being around them, or an emotional memory that's frozen in time and no longer matches present reality. None of this means you should ignore these thoughts, but it does mean you should get curious about them instead of immediately acting on them. Ask yourself, am I missing this person, the feeling they gave me, or the version of myself I was around them? That one question can completely change how you interpret what your mind keeps bringing back to you. Now I want to hear from you. Does someone come to your mind like this, without any communication, without any warning? Drop a comment below and tell me your story, because I personally read every single one, and it might become the topic of next week's video. If this video gave you real clarity today, do me a favor, hit subscribe, tap that like button, and share this with someone who needs to understand this exact pattern right now. This channel is built by this community, one video at a time, and I'm genuinely glad you're here. I'll see you in the next one.